Good afternoon, ladies, gentlemen, boys, and girls. Welcome back to OS World Cup 2025. We are headed into our last match of the Losers Bracket Round 2. Our last Losers Bracket match for today. And one of our last couple matches for today. And on paper, this is looking like it's going to be a pretty good one. We have number 10 seed Chile. We have number 17 seed Austria. Coming off of very interestingly different matches, Chile, of course, lost 5-0 against defending champion South Korea, while Austria really took it straight to Singapore, beating them 5-1. So it's going to be interesting to see how these two teams match up against one another in a round where the map pools have gotten a whole lot harder. Very excited to see how this one gets going. I'm this one guy. Joining me for this match is going to be Lightin. Good afternoon, Mr. Lightin, and welcome.
Good
Chile, Austria.
Afternoon. Yes, Chile, Austria. Very excited to cast this match. How are you doing this fine evening, T1G? But yeah, nonetheless, a lot of maps ahead of us. A lot of flowing as well. Something that Austria does excel on. We can already see a few bans coming in. We see a hidden 2-ban already from Austria, not wanting to play that hidden precision, which also makes sense. And Fremont 1 and Nomad 4 bans coming in from Chile already. So right off the bat, all those flowy maps and a tech flow map also out of the way as well. Very good bans here from Chile. I'm really liking those bans. And a DT2 ban coming in from Austria as well. A lot of exciting stuff in here, T1G. What are your thoughts on this matchup?
Well, my thoughts are being adjusted by the second as we see the bans. I come into this thinking that, you're likely to see Chile picking into things like reading and gimmick maps, whereas Austria was likely to pick into, some tapping and some flow aim stuff. And then we see the Austria banning DT2 themselves, which is kind of interesting, and Chile banning Nomad 4, which is also kind of interesting. So it's a little bit of a different approach to the match than I maybe expected. However, DT3 first pick is not at all surprising. That stays in line with, I think, what we anticipate of this matchup out of this team, who have looked pretty darn good at the tapping and the higher BPM stuff so far in the tournament.
Yep, exactly that. Would probably anticipated a Nomad 5 fan coming in from Austria to not play that reading, but I guess they are confident in Teppy Fangirl and the company for that map. But nonetheless, a DC3 pick coming in from Austria. A classic map as well, mapped by Jonathan LFG, Strawberry Crisis. This is going to be your basically just a speed shred map. The BPM is going to be really, really high, hovering about 285 BPM, and a lot of bursts coming into that too. So on paper, as you said, it does favor Austria, but Chile, they can also play this relatively well. We can already see Interkiming and Alphiu joining into the lobby. That's the two players to look out for. Also probably going to be joining in by a few other players, but this is probably a really good pick. I like this pick from Austria.
And it's interesting talking about the players who are joining the lobby and who's going to be coming in for stuff. Both these teams kind of run relatively limited rosters, right? You have 8 players on your team. Last week, Austria was completely missing 2 of their players, Teppy and Teppy Fangirl, and as a result, they had 3 players in for all 6 maps. Z10A, Fedora Goose, and Z9A all played all 6 maps. On the other side, Chile, they had Alfio and Intercamming both play 5 of 5 maps, where the others were just kind of distributed out. They had 3 different players in for 1 map only. So both of these teams are kind of running a small core. They're not using like these full, deep rosters that you can kind of expect out of some of the teams where they're, having everybody play like 3-4 maps. Instead, it's really a core couple of players with maybe 1 or 2 fill members. And notably here for Austria, you do see Teppy is in, so he is back and available for today. Chile, meanwhile, running a pretty standard roster, Alfio, Intercamming, Shock Gamer, and Gonza against the other members of Austria, Z10, Z9, and Akuma no Tenshi. So we're getting into it. This is Losers Bracket. It's an elimination match for one of these two teams. The winner goes on to face Taiwan tomorrow. The loser is out of the tournament. And away we go, just like that. Pretty quick getting this one underway. The bans, the first pick, the readying, all happening very rapidly. And already we've seen a couple breaks on either side. Teppy, Z9A, Gonza at the very, very start, and Chalk Gamer. So it's going to be a tiny lead Chile.
It's like the players are already playing GT3 in that ban phase, but nonetheless, though, Z10A does find a miss as well. A slight combo advantage on the side of Chile. Still, the combos are holding on the side of Austria. Never mind, though, Teppy does find a miss as well, traded by Shock Gamer, and Z98 is just a good attention for the Austrian side as the combos. Free up Caesar is still holding on for Chile. This is a really bad start from Austria. Remind you that this is their own pick, and the free up C's versus 1. This is going to go straight into the left side as Alpha U, Intercamming, and Gonza still hold on to the combos. Intercamming does find a miss, though. Just wanted to mention that accuracy, but nonetheless, the miss is there. Shock Gamer, Gonza, also the misses are there, and Akuma Tenchi as well. The last FC for Austria down, and it's Alpha U time, who continues to hold on to that FC. Half of the map now gone, and a second key on the board, and all eyes are on Alpha U.
Yeah, there's a reason that he is in for every map for this Chile team. Has been playing very, very well of late, including in the World Cup thus far, holding on to that one FC left in the lobby. It's built up a pretty sizable lead here for Team Chile as well, 260k. He does finally break. There is some big combo being built up on Austria, and there is still some time left in this map. There is a world as such where this gets interesting. Shock Gamer broke as well as Alpha U, and you've got a large recovery combo on Z10. You've got a pretty sizable combo on Akuma Tenchi. We'll see if this score gap can come down, especially if Intercamming were to break in the late stages. This could get very interesting, but for now, staying around that 130k mark in Chile's favor.
It does go towards the right, though, with a few hundreds, but Intercamming does find a miss, though. The entire combo just evaporated in a second, and with that, Chile will be taking their breakpoint. It was just so close. They needed the Austrian teams, D10A and Akuma Tenchi, they needed to hold on for a little longer to get that first point on the board, but it looks like they were denied at the very end as Chile take the breakpoint straight away.
Man, if only Austria could have kept a couple of those combos up into the ending, that could have gotten very, very interesting in a big, big hurry. Just one or two combos remaining with the breaks from Chile that came out could have made a huge difference, but simply not meant to be. And that is the last thing you want to see if you're Austria or rooting for Austria. A break point on your own preferred skill set in this matchup to get things underway. And now Chile will have their choice of picks. They did see a reading map banned out against them in that hidden pool. Maybe you opt into the no mod 5 here. Could opt into another hidden or the anti-mod in the free mod pool if that's the direction you think you might want to go against an Austrian team that maybe hasn't looked as great on the skill set. And there it is. It is free mod 2. Suminagashi, CS5 AR8 in the free mod pool.
We love our anti-mods, and this one is also a little flow aim favored as well. There's still, the BPM is going to be a lot lower than that on the pre-mod 1 in particular, but still a lot of flow elements that does help Austrian situation here a little bit. I was anticipating mainly Nomad 5, as Chile just have a really good roster when it comes to reading. You have Alpha, you have Intercamming, you have number 37. But on the Austrian side, obviously you had a Tappy Fangirl, but nonetheless, this one is going to be a lot more different than the Nomad 5. Obviously, the reading element does exist with an AR8 if you're playing this no mod or hidden, but you also gotta equate the precision element that a few players would have to play with Hard Rock. And both teams should be pretty comfortable when it comes to the roster building in this map. Would imagine that Alpha U will most likely, or number 37 will go with hidden, Intercamming, probably Hard Rock, while on the Austrian side, Z9A or Z10A, probably opting for that Hard Rocks and hiddens as well. So that is the situation here, but what do you think of this pick, 200?
I think Chile likes reading. I think anything that lets you get number 37 in is going to be very useful for you because he is typically very, very reliable on these types of maps. My one maybe concern would be their Hard Rock player. Last week the one free mod they played was free mod 3. They ran Hanayume on the Hard Rock, and he's back in the lobby for this one as well. So I'm anticipating we may well see the same thing here, and that's always going to be a little bit of a question mark, I think. But otherwise, you know, you get your very strong reading core in. No Gonza, notably, but you do get, 37. You get Lasse, you get Intercamming. Pretty good roster for Chile. On the side of Austria, they did play a couple free mods last week. They won both of them. Didn't play any low AR though, so it's kind of hard to directly compare. Didn't play any precision either. So it makes it a little tougher to directly make a comparison, especially since you've got Teppy Fangirl, so you've got, kind of a new available player to your roster you didn't have last week. But we'll see. I think this is a type of map that could be very competitive.
Indeed, I do agree with that. Teppy Fangirl on the hidden modification, Z10A with the Hard Rock, and an
Oh
overmod
my.
for Chile.
Woo.
3 Hard Rocks. You were questioning their Hard Rock capabilities, and they just went with 3 Hard Rocks. That is a bold move from Chile, but it feels like they are confident. Wow, I am really surprised by that. But nonetheless, though, the map by itself is Mapper Tuzin, a mapper who mainly specializes in alternate. This time around, going to be a little bit of a higher BPM, 180. We already see a few misses coming in from the Hard Rock players, Z10A and Intercamming. Finding the misses as well, another miss from number 37 to an Acumen Attention earlier on, as a lot of misses are on the screen so far, but Austria does seem to have a slight fever in this intro.
This free mod pool has a lot of maps that are very easy to break just about anywhere on. This free mod 2 and the free mod 3 especially, just the patterning and the variability of the patterns is really, really high. There's so many different things these maps throw at you. The pentagon, hexagon, expanding and those types of patterns, the streams, it throws a lot your way. And you can see the players struggling a fair amount with it at the beginning. That's a miss on nothing from Teppy Fangirl in the little aim pattern there. That's really helpful for Chile because they did have a pretty good combo. Z10A falls as well. And now you've got Hanayume intercamming. Really all 4 members of Chile doing well and not a lot to speak of for Austria. They're going to need some help to bring this one back. Chile looking solid at the halfway mark, over 100k lead.
Exactly, lastly, did find a miss earlier on, though, giving that a little bit of a window of opportunity for Austria, but Austria needs more misses. A lot of misses came in from those slow sections from Z10A and Teppy Fangirl, but still the combos on the Chilean side are looking really, really good. Intercamming in number 37 with the recovery. Hanayumi with an FC off their own, matched by Fedora Goose on the no mod, but look at that score difference already, 300,000. It keeps on growing. Intercamming, that's fine a miss, though. Still, the combos are holding. It will go towards the right as we speak so far, but it's still not the end of the world, but it might be. Hanayume does find a miss, though. Fedora Goose still holding that combo, as well as the recovery from Akama Tenshi, number 37, the only player to try and contest them, but the time is not on their side. If number 37 misses, maybe there is a chances there, but it looks like as the map dwindles down in intensity, this is gonna be most likely going to Chile.
Yeah, and that came back a fair amount towards the end, right? You had the 300k lead for Chile and came all the way back to 135k as the final margin of victory. But those scores from number 37 and Hanayume, really, really solid. 870k, 826k, not too far behind on intercamming as well. Fedora Goose, the Nomad FC is fantastic, but unfortunately just did not get quite enough backing score from the rest of the team to make that happen. It's great to have a Nomad FC on these anti-mods. It's very useful, but you still need to have backing scores when the opposition is putting up a team performance like Chile just did. And that is exactly what they needed. It's a 2-0 consolidated breakpoint lead just like that to get this match underway. Pick back over to Austria, only 2 maps into a best of 11. It's not like it's over by any means, but you need to, get your claws into the match as early as you can and avoid the double breakpoint. So it needs to be a good pick here. And the question is what that map might be.
You gotta keep the momentum. There are a lot of options for Austria. I'm looking at that HR1, which does have a lot of flow aim elements as well, but it all depends on that Hard Rock comfort. And judging from that pre-mod 2, Chile were looking pretty confident on the Hard Rock. The overmod paid off. So now when you look at the maps like pre-mod 3, this is gonna be very dangerous for Austria. Now you gotta think, and they go for DT4 instead. This is gonna be an old map aim, Ravers Fantasy. I think this was a 2009 or 2008 map, but nonetheless, a lot of awkward jumps, a lot of flow jumps as well, and it's really, really hard to hold any type of combo on this map.
Yeah, anybody who watched Russia versus Spain yesterday and saw this map being played in match for the first time knows just how difficult it is to be consistent on this 2009 pick. very, very challenging to a lot of modern players who just don't see this kind of style. It's a lower BPM, relatively speaking, lower AR even after DT is only AR9, which keeps it fairly dense. And the style of, that kind of linear, old-fashioned aim is just very, very difficult. I'm going to be interested to see who might be comfortable with this type of pick. Chile looks to have their roster in just instantly. They are set to go with Alfeu intercamming Sifs and number 37. Just, you've got, the reading players. You've got the players who are experienced in tournaments with older maps, perhaps. So let's see what Austria brings to the table against them. This has got to be something that Austria is really comfortable with. You just don't want to go down that 3-0 early, man. It's such a risk.
It is really risky. This map by itself is very risky to pick, so I can see the vision here. You might want to switch the momentum up map on a whole different skill set, and I feel like, given the fact that they have Fedora Goose, there is a chance Fedora Goose, the oldest member of the Austrian core, one of the oldest players in this tournament as well, does make an appearance to play this GT4, which it does make a lot of sense, but nonetheless, Chile are ready. They had their lineup ready before anyone from the Austrian team even considered joining the lobby. And first of all, I gotta give a huge appreciation to 2009 Metadata. I think the Night 4 is not an artist here, but this is nonetheless still a Night 4 song, so gotta take that into consideration. And let's transition into this DT4 Ravers Fantasy.
This is gonna be a fun one. This is the sort of thing you just do not see every day. Map older than I think at least one member of the map pooling team, if you can believe it. Pretty insane to see. And away we go. It just looks its age. You can tell instantly. The linear pattern, the straight lines, the slightly curved sliders, and the players finding early misses. Tepi, Fedora Goose, and Alfeu all breaking in the first moments of the map. There goes Z9A and number 37 as well. It's so hard to be consistent on this pick, man. It's just really difficult, and you're seeing that again here. The only FC already left in the lobby is intercamming, nobody else.
Exactly that. No FC's on the Austrian side as well. A lot of misses coming in from them, and mind you, this is their own pick once more. Not going their way, second time in a row. 100,000 difference already this early into the map, with 1/3 of the map gone. A lot of linear patterns. Intercamming does break the FC, but still the highest combo in the lobby is going to be on Chile's side for Alfeu. The second highest lobby is also going to be on Chile's side for number 37. Does find a miss though. Still, 200,000 lead for Chile is massive already. He just keeps on going as Alfeu holds on. The only combo that tries to contest them is probably going to be Fedora Goose, and that's basically a free-hearted combo lower. And while Alfeu is holding on, that lead is exacerbated even more. 369,000 difference on a slow section. A good idea to try and build up more of that combo, more of that accuracies. And this is not looking good for Austria.
It is not at all. 400k plus the lead for Chile. The accuracy going their way, the combo going their way, the score going their way, and really this so far, we're only on our third map, so we're not very far into this match, but I think this is a little more what people would have expected from Chile compared to that 5-0 loss where they looked kind of out of sorts last week. This is a lot closer to the Chile we would expect if they can keep this sort of level up throughout the entire match. A very good performance from the team here. It is going to be just all four members with really, really solid scores. It's 700k or higher on 3 of them. Highest score intercamming just below 800k. And, well, we got to wait for the ending now.
But the storyboard.
Yeah, and there we go. Say, we will finally get to see, like, the scores from Austria just universally worse. Nobody at 700k on that side, whereas Chile had 3, and that tells the story of a team that is much more comfortable than their opposition. Double break point, Chile already 3 maps in.
Yep, T1G, they're just running away with this 3-0 so far. No answer from Austria, and that DT4 was definitely not the answer that they were looking for. And with those 3 points on the board, Chile continues to ride the momentum, to ride that wave, to maybe go into more of those reading maps that we've mentioned throughout this entire match. That Nomad 5 is still standing, still looking so juicy for Chile probably to get picked. But this is going to be Nomad 3 instead. This is going to be your awkward alt map, and on top of that, a lot of rhythm changes. If you look up this map in the editor, it's gonna basically be a field of orange and red. Just so many BPM changes, a lot of time signature changes as well, and also a really long map on top of that. 4.5 minutes of alternate. This is gonna be an interesting one, I think.
Yeah, we've seen some pretty varied performances on this map. Of course, we had Gaohao in the Taiwan versus Romania match earlier, FCing to send that match to a tiebreaker. We've seen we saw good performances from Brazil in their match against Finland, where they closed out the match on this pick. It is definitely one where a single player or maybe two players on a team can really take it over. The awkward aim control requirements on this map make it easy to miss just about anywhere. And those rhythm changes, as you mentioned, I mean, it's so easy to be tapping through a pattern and all of a sudden the rhythm changes midway through and you just drop a whole bunch of hundreds at once and lose a whole bunch of ac at once. And it's hard to avoid. So you'll see accuracy at a bit of a premium on this, and I would love to see, again, just a crazy performance from somebody on the screen. Doesn't matter who, but I would just love to witness another crazy solo carry, because that's what this map can really offer sometimes.
Oh, that's for sure. We did see this map being played a few times, and that's exactly where the solo carry performance mattered the most. And when you look at this map, you think of the players like Alfie, you think of the players like Fedora Loser, Z9 or Z10A. That's the players that can make a huge difference here as well. Intercamming is also on that list too. So that individual step up is definitely needed for this map, especially considering it's like 4.5 minutes long. The consistency element is thriving on this. So this is going to be definitely a challenge for both of these teams, but on paper, it does favor Chile. We did just see how well they perform on those in-control flowing maps, but this is a whole different front line, a whole different skill set, so let's see how this will go. The good luck upons are now in the chat, and it's time for Hyper Candombe.
Away we go. Really need to see something from Austria here. Dropping those 3 straight points to get the match underway. They've got to start getting a little bit of momentum, even if they don't win, at least being competitive on the pick all the way through and not falling behind that several 100,000 point margin that we've seen a couple times here already would be good for them. Obviously, winning the map would be optimal for them, but let's not count our chickens before they hatch here. And already you can see what these rhythm changes do to players. The accuracies across the board, seeing 96s, 97s, even some 94s out there, gives you an idea just how challenging it is to stay perfectly on time with this map. And the answer really is that you can't. You can just do your best. There are a couple breaks. Tanayume and Akuma no Tenchi, first really meaningful misses other than just a couple in the very intro.
Yep, thankfully this map is about consistent in difficulty, so there's probably not going to be a lot of crazy miss sections that might happen throughout this map. But nonetheless, those 2 misses, these accuracy advantage slightly on the Chilean side, as that intro does stand out to you, though. A little frustrated with the miss, I can understand that right at the end of that stream too, which does shift the lead when it comes to the combo back to the Austrian side, as it continues to build into a little bit of a slower section here. 12,000 lead, slowly diminishing, but the recoveries are slowly coming in as well. Hanayume and Akuma Tenshi, you might have missed earlier, but now it doesn't really matter that much. But if one of those FCs does miss, though, it's going to hurt every single team significantly, so you better watch out for that.
It's all eyes on intercamping, Gonza, Z10A, and Z9A, with Fedora Goose close behind them. Of course, as I mentioned, his name does break. There goes Alfie, Z9A, Akuma no Tenchi, Hanayume as well. And that means that it's an FC against 0 backing combo in favor of Chile, with a double FC on the board against nothing now for Austria, as they have all fallen to pieces. And now it is intercamping, the most decorated player in this lobby, off to the races. How far can he carry this full combo? How big of a lead can he build up for Chile as it crests the 100,000 score lead mark just before halfway through? It is intercambing to carry this map forward for Chile with the biggest combo in the lobby by 800.
Exactly, 1,000 combo barrier broken, and still the lead continues to go their way. A slow section just to make the matters even worse, to route that Salt on the Wood Gonzo. Unable to find the combo so far, but it doesn't really matter as long as Intercamping Hold is holding on to that massive 1,200 full combo that continues to lead Chile spearhead their assault onto the Austrian side as well. 150,000, a slight section here as we are transitioning into the second guide. Finally, Intercamping finds a miss though, and unit also. A lot of misses from the Chilean side as well. That's the opportunity the Austria needs, and they continue to hold on to their combos. Fedora, Goose, Hakuna Tenchi, and Z9A all there on the recovery. Z9A missed earlier, but it's going towards the right though. It might chip, but never mind though. 2 misses on the Austrian side. It's just Hakuna Tenchi. Nobody to contest him on the Chilean side, as there's still a third of the map left.
Yeah, this map is so long. It just keeps going, and it keeps throwing ever more difficult patterns at you. There's a couple of slower sections, but really, this is just challenging throughout for 4.5 minutes. And it's all the question of how well Akuma no Tenchi can continue to hold. Chile not doing an amazing job of building recovery combo up, intercamping, doing what he can, Gonza doing what he can, but that Akuma no Tenchi 850 plus combo is huge, especially with Fedora Goose at 370 behind him. And that lead is only 34k, and it's continuing to drop. The time is dwindling precipitously here, but Austria has the combo to need to bring it back, especially with Alfie finding that big chain miss. That's going to be the lead going over to Austria. Akuma no Tenchi finds a break, as does Fedora Goose. That is both of the big combos gone for Austria. Watch intercamping now, 680 combo and growing, doing what Chile needs him to do into the last moments of the map. Z10A at 450 combo, you gotta keep him in mind as well as a support member. But it looks like Chile might have done enough here with that intercamping score into the very ending of the map. It's so close, it is so balanced, but Chile, just by the barest margin, are gonna hold on. It's gonna be a tiny win of sub 25k. But it's Chile to take another point. That's 4 in a row. That felt dangerous, but they managed to hold on nonetheless.
That was so close. Akuma no Tenchi and Fedora Goose 2 times in a row now. Those 2 players, if they held on for longer for that DT free, obviously Fedora Goose not being there, and if they held just a little longer on this Nomad free, then this could have been a whole different story. But now Chile 4-0 Austria, unable to answer, and intercamming just look at him go. The Unk still got it. 1270 combo, holding up to that, and see up until the middle section. Finds a miss on the second KI on the spaced flow aim patterns, and then just recovers and plays the map like nothing happened. And with that, Chile 4-0 lead with Ashi. It's going to be their point, their pick now, and they need to think, because otherwise, if you lose this map, then Chile are going to be on the match point, and this is not something that you want to do, especially since it'll be Chile's pick if Austria loses this. You gotta think, and the options are dwindling. You gotta look at those floating maps, you gotta look at that HR1, you gotta look at that maybe something like, I don't even know, Fremont 3. What do you think is the best pick here, T1G?
Part of me wants to say Nomad 2, but at the same time, Nomad 2 is kind of playable even for people who aren't great at speed, and they're gonna go somewhere completely different. They're gonna go Hidden 3. It is still flowy. It does still have flow and control aim elements to it, but this isn't a hidden pool, and this is something we really have not seen out of this match so far. And it's another skill set that I don't feel we've seen a ton of from these teams, at least not, last week, no hiddens, right? Neither of them played a hidden. This is an interesting direction to take this match. I'm not sure. I feel like I might have preferred Nomad 2 as what could possibly be your last pick here. But I understand the direction to go into here as well, I guess.
I understand the direction, but this is still really bold from Austria. If you look at the qualifier results for Chile, both of those hidden maps, Chile got seed number 6 on a hidden one and seed number 3 on a hidden 2. Obviously, this one being a lot more different than the standard aim map on the hidden 1 that was there, and a reading map that was there on the hidden 2. This one is going to be a lot more control favored, but you looked at how the Fremont 2 went, you looked at how the Nomad 3 went, and now suddenly this one might be basically a backstop if this doesn't go on Austria's way, because Chile, they'll be running away with this. If they take this, they need to lock in now to try and prevent that match point from happening, and this is going to be a really uphill battle here, a really difficult task to try and overcome, as the players from the Austrian side will slowly join into the lobbies, but the Chilean lineup is already ready. Number 37, Gonza Alfie, you'll probably join in by intercamming relatively shortly as well. This is looking really dangerous for Austria.
It is. And it's going to be Sifs, it looks like. So maybe the rare map with no intercamming for Chile. We'll see if somebody else leaves and he rejoins, but right now it's no intercamming. Austria rolling Tepi Fangirl, Tomadoy, Fedora Goose, and Akuma no Tenchi. Tomadoy was in for hidden on some free mods in the past. Tepi Fangirl, coming in a little less knowledge on him since he wasn't here last week, but be interesting. I'm surprised to see no intercamming, I think, is the biggest thing about these rosters. But yeah, this is another map that feels really dangerous in kind of the same way as the Nomad 3, where there's just patterns that are easy to break on in a lot of these flowy picks in this pool, and it can lead to maps that just come down to the wire. So we're going to have to watch carefully, because this one is challenging. A lot of aim control, some cut streams, and excel decel bursts. It is a tough one, but Austria's flow aim, we keep talking about it. If they're going to show that skill set, now has got to be the time.
It's gotta be the time, because your tournament life is on the line to try and play this map. Heartstrings probably cutting already. Tepi Fangirl, Tomaro, and Akuma no Tenchi. Not the best start. Triple miss from the Austrian side and a double one from Chile. But still, Gonza number 37 continue to hold on to those FCs. Fedora Goose as well. Tepi Fangirl and Tomaroi missing on the recoveries to a good early lead from Chile. 50,000 and growing. This is looking pretty dire here for Austria, but number 37 gives that window of opportunity as Gonza and Fedora Goose continue to hold on to those FCs. More flow aim coming in. Akuma no Tenchi finds him, but Gonza is going to be the one contesting Fedora Goose here. Fedora Goose needs to hold on to keep the dreams of his team alive. The captain for the Austrian side to try and keep this boat floating. But for now, it seems like it's sinking, but never mind though. Gonza finds a miss before the slow section, and Fedora Goose is going to be steering the ship away from the iceberg. Still half of the map left, but look at Fedora Goose go, the captain, stepping up when the team needs him, and it's going to be shifting towards Austria's side.
Fedora Goose finally does break, but it's not before taking the lead back for Austria. Tepi Fangirl and Tomadoy still had some combos, so they built that lead up a little more. Sounded like another break there from number 37 right into this slower section. And there's just not a lot of combo on that Chile side. Alfeu at 300 is all they really have to muster up. Tepi Fangirl, meanwhile, just about 600. And, they say any port in a storm, and perhaps that port could be this hidden 3, but there's the big breaks from Tepi Fangirl and Tomadoy. So wait just a second here, as you do have Alfeu on the combo, you have Sifs on the combo as well, you have the score gap coming down. Oh, don't let this happen. Don't rip their hearts out, Chile. You can't do this to them again. You can't have this match keep playing out this way. The combo is just gone from Austria, and Alfeu continues to hold. Alfeu says, "You're trying to steer through a storm. No, I am the storm," as he continues to hold into the ending and the lead of 13k onto the side of Chile. Are they going to take this into the last moment? The tricky ending patterns are here, and it's not going to matter as Chile holds through enough, and the lead goes to over 120k, and Chile takes another point. That's 5 straight, and just disappointment and a heartbreak for Austria in equal measure.
That's so heartbreaking for Austria as well on it. And the cherry on top as well, Alfie, you just hold on through that ending. Those ending patterns are absolutely brutal, but he held on up until the very end. And now the ship is slowly starting to sink in Chile. They will be dealing the final blow still. One more map to play, but the options are still available. We have been talking about that Nomad 5 throughout the entire match, but we get a DT1 instead. We get remote control. Chile are in this zone, and they are feeling it to try and close out the storm with a map that needs no introduction. This is remote control, and they're taking the max control for this match.
A map that needs no introduction is all there is to say, man. Everyone knows remote control. You all know what you're getting into when you see this map. You see this background. You hear that intro. It's one of the most famous maps in OS history. I mean, the battle for first place on this, I remember. You had, goodness, who all involved? You had Cookies, you had Vaxe, like the names of the legends
well, yeah.
DTing this back when it was truly one of the most hype PP farm DT picks. And here we see it in OS World Cup. Gosh, 6-7 years later now. And it could be the site of Chile closing out Austria and closing the door on their hopes of advancing onward in this year's World Cup. What a setting for this map that could determine the entire match.
Yep, it might have been a little more than 7 years, T1G. It's been, I think that this was farmed back in 2017, so this is about almost 9 years. As far as I recall, this was a PP record as well, 817 PP from Shigetora, otherwise known as Kukizi, setting this PP record back in May of 2017, so this goes way back, and this is just a really good way to show how the era of mapping looked like back in the days. Remote control mapped by a legendary mapper as well, Taiyang, who also needs no introduction. 250 BPM jumps basically, and also just a lot of iconic sections. You have to build that speed element, you have that aim element, which is going to be the main element of this map, but also the tricky section in the second third of the map with those reverses that might catch a few combos off guard, that might break some of those FCs, but still, the lineups are ready, and it's time to take max control and pick up that TV to maybe turn it off. Chile, they have the remote control, and they can definitely turn off Austria right now.
Oh man, away we go. I am so excited. The first couple matches that I commentated this week, this map was not played, so I am getting to experience it now. Alfeu Sips intercamming Hanayume, looking to close out the match against Fedora Goose, Z10A, Z9A, and Akuma no Tenchi. Who is gonna do it? We saw Zudinator in Canada versus Germany pull out the FC to lead Canada to a win on this point. Another full combo on this map in match would be crazy, but I think it's within the realm of possibility as we get underway on this one. And who would have thought it would have been Chile picking this in this matchup as well, man?
Yep, I think they're just really confident, but so far, the confidence and cockiness might be two different things here. Hanayume does find a miss. 4 FCs on the side of Austria for now, does give that combo advantage, but if any miss happens on the Austrian side, this might as well flip, but still, this is just the slow section. This is not the key ice. This is not the main jumpy parts that will catch a lot of these combos. Finally transitioning into the second PI. Still, the combos are there. The lead switches towards the Austrian side. No misses on the first set of jumps so far, but Sips, though, does find a miss later on. Still, the 4 FCs on the Austrian side are holding on. Just 2 FCs on Chile to try and contest for Alfeu and intercamming. But look at Austria go so far. Good, solid start as the first PI finishes, and Sips finds yet another miss.
4 FCs against 2. Look at Austria go. The accuracy not above 97 on a single one of them, but the FCs are still intact, and that is all that matters. The lead goes over 100k. So hit some more bursts, this little tapping section, no trouble anywhere as we build our way into the next chorus, into that next Ki time. Can Austria keep up this 4-way? How long will they all hold? And not long is the answer. Akuma no Tenchi, the first member of Austria to fall, but it's a 200k lead, and intercamming trades it out anyway.
Yep, just 1 FC against 3 Fedora Goose, Z10A and Z9A showing up. A complete masterclass here from the Austrian side. Just Alfeu to try and contest, and already a massive score lead on this side of Austria. 260 and growing. Fedora Goose does seem to be very excited about this, but this is where the nerves will start hitting them significantly. You gotta hope that you will hold on for as long as possible. This is the slow part so far, but it's slowly gonna be transitioning into those reverses. And here they come, a transition that will lead into a speed section, no misses. Never mind though, Fedora Goose finds a miss on the last slider possible in that section, but still, it does shift towards the left though a little bit. Never mind though, it doesn't, but still Z10A and Z9A, this duo will continue to try and keep Austria's dreams alive. Still a quarter of the map left, and the hardest part of the map still in there. The last PI approaching us. Z10A finds a miss, it's just Alfeu and Z9A, but the score difference is already so massive. Sips on the recovery. You gotta hope for Chile to try and take this if you're rooting for them, but Z9A is gonna be breaking all their dreams, and the combos are still intact. The last PI is coming in here. AlphaU and Z9A still on the combo with 260,000. I don't think there's enough time here, but the FCs, if they continue to hold on, this is gonna be really massive for them. Chile and Z9A, AlphaU, and they continue to hold on to their combos, but still Z9A will hit the ending jumps, and it does look like we'll have a double FC on this T1G. This is crazy from both of these players, and Austria lives on to see another day.
Oh, what a way to put a point on the board with an FC on remote control just like that. Yeah, AlphaU matched it. It's 2 FCs out of the lobby. Incredible performances, but just that team score from Austria. FC Z9A, 840k, Z10A, and then you've got a solid 700k for Dorgus as well. Man, oh man. That map just doesn't disappoint. You know, it takes me back to last year, the semifinals DT1 there, where you had some crazy team scores, 4-way FC from the United Kingdom, and so on. And that kind of hype carrying over to this year, and it's living up to it, man. We've seen a couple FCs already. As you said, Austria keeps themselves alive for at least one more pick. And where do they go now? Nothing has worked for them. Their only point on the board now is that break point. They've lost all their own picks. So now, I don't know, just pick something you think Chile is going to be good at? Who knows?
Yeah, that is a good question. There's a lot of options there, and looking at it so far, I mean, I've mentioned that HR1 that might be coming in from Austria, but Chile are good on the hard rock department. You might look into Fremont Free, but still also really, really risky. If you look at all these maps, this is going to be a minefield of decisions, and it looks like you gotta hope to not step on a mine, and a Nomad 2 could be one of them. This is going to be your speed map. This is going to be a Mazarin speed map. Some flow aim is present, but this is going to be 250 BPM speed, 240 BPM, never mind, but still a very short map, and maybe an opportunity for Austria, or it might be just the map that sadly will get them eliminated. We will see a really risky pick here from Austria, but we've seen a lot of those risky picks that paid off for some of those teams, and maybe it's gotta be one of them.
This pick has been a very interesting one to watch in previous matches. We've seen situations with 90 AC FCs, mid-80 AC FCs from, I believe it was Kurumi W and from Nathan Ram in the Brazil match and in the Philippines match, respectively. And you just don't know. It's a minute 48, 240 BPM. The streams do not require a whole lot of aim, so it is really just about maintaining your stamina and tapping your way through much more than it is about anything else, and that's why you can FC this with low accuracy. It's a very comboable map, and as such, the risk factor feels super, super high. And it's not as though Chile is terrible at this skill set, especially on a map like this that's a little shorter. So we'll see if that can play into their hands, or if Austria can finally find their first winning pick of their own. Everything feels so risky in this match, man. You never know how a map is going to play out. And this is no exception.
Exactly, and also the factor that this map is going to be very short, and the pressure on top of that. One mistake and you're gone from the tournament. This has got to be hitting the Austrian players significantly, so you are not allowed to make any mistakes, but sometimes it does help the opposing team as well, because if you are down, this is where the Lion gets the most dangerous, and Austria, they are definitely a team not to be played with. And with that shimmy, Nomad to a map by Mazarin starts off a lot of those stream patterns, a lot of those speed patterns too. Some may be double toppable, some not, but still a minute and 48 seconds long. Every single miss is gonna count, and here comes the Nomad 2.
Comeback attempted to start on DT1, and will it continue on the Nomad 2? The big question. Couple early breaks there from Z9 and Z10A. Accuracy drops pretty much everywhere, as kind of to be expected. Shock Gamer goes down also, so does Fedora Goose. And we're seeing a lot of breaks. The beginning of this map, pretty challenging. I think it maybe you could say is the hardest to aim section in terms of the streams. It catches some victims out, and look at the lead for Chile already, 180k and growing as there goes Akuma no Tenchi multiple times. Look at the accuracy on Austria, 93, 92, 95 against 99, 97, 98. Look at what that score is doing. Halfway through, minute 48 is all that this is in length, and Austria is falling apart on this pick. It's getting into dangerous territory. We are at risk of saying goodbye to Austria in really rapid, ignominious fashion.
Yup, it's going rapidly towards the Chile side. Gonza does find a miss to help alleviate the situation a little bit, but as long as those combos continue to hold on the Chile side, this is going to be a complete disaster of a pick for Austria. Alfeu, look at that accuracy, the executioner for Austria to finish off the job that he could not do on the D2-1, where Fedora who stuck him, but never mind though, Alfeu, what happened? The pan just slipped? Probably, I don't know, but still, it doesn't really matter though, the advantage is already there, 780,000, Intercamming also dropping the FCs, just Shot Gamer with a massive recovery, Fedora Goose to try and stop them, but this lead is already a little too big to try and contest. Chile will be running away with this to take the match with the score of 6-1, and Austria will be getting eliminated from OSU World Cup 2025.
Man, what a performance on that last map from Chile. I think Austria definitely felt backed into a corner with that pick. It seemed like they needed to go that direction, and it just did not work out. Man, Intercamming ended up with the top score, but it was Alfeu so much of the way through until that big miss, whatever may have happened. And that is Chile taking the victory. Last week, 5-0 victims of South Korea. This week, 6-1 dominating performance over Austria. They'll head onward into losers round 3 tomorrow, where they will face off against Taiwan. That one at 15 UTC should be a very exciting one. Taiwan, of course, surviving Romania 6-5 on tiebreaker to make that matchup happen. And as mentioned, of course, we do say commiserations and we say farewell to Austria, the 17th through 24th range that they will finish in. Not a bad performance. You really have to give them credit for getting this far and how well they performed to this point, even in the loss.
Exactly. That was still a really good team scores from the Austrian side for most of these maps as well, and just pains to see them getting eliminated this early, but this is the thing that happens in the tournaments. The better team wins, and this time, this day, Chile were just a better team, winning this match 6-1 and advancing further to play against Taiwan. And thank you, Austria, so much for participating. This was really close on a few maps and definitely brought a lot of memories with that D2-1 Fedora Goose with the FC there. But sadly, we will not be seeing them anymore.
This will be so long for Austria. It will not quite be so long for today's matches, as we have just gotten underway with the final match of the day. As you can see on your screen there, United States versus the United Kingdom has just begun. United States up a 1-0 lead, first picking Hidden 3 and winning it by a considerable margin, it looks like. So that match will be getting going. We're going to send you on over. That's on twitch.tv/OSULive, so we'll be heading on over to check in on that one. Thank you all for watching. Congratulations to Team Chile. Commiserations to Austria. I've been T1G. He's been Lighten. Thank you for watching, and enjoy the last match of the day, USA versus the UK, and we will see you there.
See you next time.